Hello, and welcome back to part 2 of Learn to Drive series with me, Kurt from NationDrive. If you do like these videos, please like, comment and subscribe. It helps me greatly and it is only one click. Thank you very much. So today, what we're going to be looking at is what happens on your first driving lesson. And as you can see, I'm not sat in a very good position. So what we're going to be looking at today is walking you through what is called the cockpit drill, or the HDSSM procedure, and everything that's going to happen on your first driving lesson. So for starters, on your first driving lesson, what you will do is you will get yourself into a good seating position and go through the HDSSM procedure. This is good for controlling the clutch and also making sure that you're sat and you can control the steering wheel and you're not too far away or too close. First things first, what we're going to do is make sure that the handbrake is on and secure. The handbrake being here. And to make sure it's on and secure, it's in an upright position. You may have an electric handbrake also, if the red button is on and the handbrake has been flicked up. But generally, when you switch off a car with an electric handbrake, the electric handbrake will automatically apply, unlike a manual handbrake, which you have to pull up. Basically, how to do that, you pull it up, button in and down. To put it on, button in, pull up, release button, and it's on. Next, we're going to be looking at the doors. Okay, so is your doors fully shut and secure? How to tell that it's open? You have a light in your center console or the center of your car. If that is on, you know that your doors are open, or one of your doors are open. You might also have a light on your dash to tell you that the door is basically open as well. You might be able to hear it with a rattle as soon as you drive. The next thing we're going to be looking at in this cockpit drill, or the HDSSM procedure, is the seat. Okay, now you can see I'm sat in a really poor position here. I'm too close to the pedals. I can't control it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my seat back into a better position. I'm going to test it by putting my clutch down. And if my leg has a slight bend in it when I put my clutch fully flat to the floor, I know now that I'm in a good position to control it when I lift the clutch up and down. Once we are there, we're going to be looking at the steering wheel. Now to do this, I basically, where I take my pulse on my wrists, I pop my hands together and I put them on top of the steering wheel while sat back. This tells me that I'm close enough to the steering wheel. I managed to adjust the back of the seat. I'm close enough to the steering wheel. You can hold it at the 10 to 2 position, and I've got a slight bend in my arms when I do so. From there, we're going to put our seatbelt on. Always an important thing to put on when you're learning to drive is your seatbelt. It's a safety issue. Make sure that you wear seatbelts on every occasion you drive the car, unless you're medically unable to do so. From that point, we're going to be looking at our mirrors. Now, what I want to see in my mirrors is basically the whole window at the back, the top of the mirror to be in line with the back window, and the left and right mirrors, I want to see a little bit of the car, a lot of the road or pavement or, image behind me, and a tiny, tiny little bit of sky on the horizon, with my back door handle in the bottom right and left corner of my mirrors, whichever side you're looking at it. That is your HDSSM procedure. That is your cockpit drill. That is the first thing that you'll run through generally when you take a first driving lesson, unless you've had experience before. From there, you're going to be looking at the interiors of the vehicle. Now to do this, I'm going to switch my car on. How to check things, how to put things on, and what you're going to be doing when you are doing certain things inside the vehicle. I always start and I go from top to bottom. I work on the mirrors first, and how to check my mirrors. Essentially, when you are doing any movement with the vehicle, whether it be slowing down, speeding up, turning left or right, changing lanes, anything like that, you would check your mirrors. Now, you would always check your center mirror first, and then the direction of which you're traveling. So if you're turning right, center right. If you're turning left, center left. Then what you're going to look at is coming down from the mirrors and looking at your interior of your vehicle. Circles on your dashboard, if you have circles on your dashboard. Essentially the speedometer, the fuel, basically the engine temperature, the coolant temperature, and the rev counter, which goes alongside your gear and your clutch to make you aware of when to change gear. Then you're going to be looking at the stalks on the side. What stalk does what? Now we've got the indicators on the left, so we put that down, left indicator comes on. We put it up, and the right indicator comes on. You've also got your main beams. Your main beams, or your high beams, or your brightest light is there for back roads, to alert somebody of your presence, and also if it's really, really dark, like say back roads, country roads, if there's no street lights and you can't see the road ahead of you quite clearly, you might put your main beams on, but be careful not to put them on if there's a vehicle travelling towards you or overtaking you at that point. On your right stalk, you have the window wipers. You have 3 settings. You have intermittent, which basically means that the window wipers will go on and then go off, like so. Consistent, like so, or fast. There is another setting for the back window wiper, which would be a twist end. Now these are all different in every single car, so get used to your vehicle when you get a new one. It might be different to your old one, or it might be different to the one you will learn to. You also have a separate feature with the window wipers, and it's a wash and clean function. So when your windows or windscreens are dirty, you would wash them like so to make sure that you're able to see properly. Back one is push away and release, and that then does the back ones to make sure that is clean. From there, you'll be looking at what is on your steering wheel. So you've got a horn and an airbag. Very simple. Horn, basically making people aware of your presence, not for aggressive use, not for holding it too long. However, sometimes when emotions kick off, you may hold your horn for a little bit longer than you should do. It should only be a light peep beep, basically. And then from there, what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at the pedals underneath your feet. You have a clutch, a brake and an accelerator if you're learning in a manual, and you have a brake and an accelerator if you're learning in an automatic. Now, clutch basically is there for when you stop the car, when you move off, and when you're changing gear. Now, it's important to change gear when it's right, the speed is right for the vehicle, and not before, because if you change too early, the car is going to struggle with the power of the vehicle. It's going to struggle to keep moving. Similarly, when you're coming down gears, you basically want to change your gear to match the revs. If you're going too low, the car will struggle, so you're going to need to change down gears at that point. Your brake is for slowing the car and stopping. Essentially, if you're coming into situations that you might need to slow down a little bit, at that point you would squeeze the brakes, not putting your clutch down unless you have to change gear. Or when you come into a stop, gently squeeze the brakes consistently, applying the clutch down as well, coming to a nice gentle stop. The accelerator is for making the car go, making it go faster, applying power to the engine to make the wheels turn quicker. You can use it also for slowing down. So essentially, if you release your accelerator, what happens is the engine comes in, and that's called engine braking. And at that point, the car would start slowing down naturally. Okay, so the car will basically pull back. It won't keep accelerating. We're going to talk about the gear stick as well. So the gear stick, generally you'll set off in first gear. If you're going downhill, you could set off in second gear. If you're going uphill, you will need to apply more gas or more accelerator before you fully raise your clutch. Now, in a previous video, I did talk about clutch work, so if you want to go and watch that, it's a good way of learning how to move off under full control with the clutch and accelerator, the balancing of it. That is part 2 of the Learn to Drive series. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something today. If you have enjoyed the video, please drop a like, please drop a comment, and please hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate you all. Thank you. I'm very new to YouTube, and I'm enjoying it so far. If you want to see me do any other videos, please drop them in the comments, and I'll make sure I can try and get them done as well. Appreciate you all. Thanks very much. I've been Kurt from NationDrive, and see you in the next one.